This is day 3. The first question listed there on day 3, possibly the most complex question on your test. Okay? Not that it's difficult to do, but it's got the most steps. It was also a 4-pointer question. Okay? So you may not have lost all of the credit, although some of us did. This is not a question where you can just multiply 2 numbers together and be done. Okay? This question takes quite a few steps. And a lot of you got like some of the steps, but didn't quite put it all together. Okay? Between my 2 classes, I honestly had very few people get this 100% correct. Okay? So I know you don't have your test in front of you, but if you did get it all the way correct, way to go. Okay? A rectangular bathroom floor is 3 feet wide and 9 feet long. It is to be covered with square tiles that are 4 inches on each side and cost 75 cents each. Find the cost of tiling the floor. The problem that some of us ran into is you forget that all of this is talking about area. So you can't just take things and like multiply by 3 or divide by 12 because there's 12 inches in a foot, things like that. You've got to actually calculate the area of these things and then figure out how many it would take to cover. So let's start with the area of the bathroom floor. Okay, let's find out how much space do we need to cover. So our bathroom floor is 3 feet wide and 9 feet long. And then the tiles that I'm covering them with are 4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, so what's our problem here? Anyone see a problem?
Oh.
Jackson?
That the one is in feet and the other's in inches.
Okay, so I've got a feet versus inches thing. And I told you way back when we started these problems that I really recommend that you start by converting all of your units to the same thing. So we could convert these inches to feet, but that's going to be kind of ugly because that's like 1/3 of a foot. So let's convert these into inches. How many inches is 3 feet? 36. Yep, 3 times 12, 36. And how many inches is 9 feet? 108. Good, 108. So the area of our bathroom floor is 36 times 108. Okay, you see where I'm getting that from?
Yep.
Okay, 36 times 108. So what's that come out to be? I'll just do it here.
3,888.
Thank you. 3,888. Okay, so that's how much space we're looking to cover. Now from here, I had a lot of people just say, okay, well I'm going to take that and divide it by 4 because every tile is 4 inches. The problem is you don't want to talk about inches, you want to talk about square inches. Okay, you want to talk, because this is being measured in square inches. I have this many square inches that I need to cover. So how many square inches are there in one of these tiles?
16.
16, right? The area of the tile is 4 times 4, which is 16 square inches. Okay? From here, I bet you would be okay. If you remembered, you have to take the area of the floor and the area of the tile. Okay, you've got to do area of both of those things. Okay, so now what do I do with these? If I have this many square inches to cover, George, go ahead.
You do 3,888 divided by 16?
Yep, and that's going to tell me how many tiles I need. So 3,888 divided by 16. Because I have this many square inches to cover, and each tile covers 16 square inches. Okay, so to figure out how many I would need, I'm going to divide it.
243.
Perfect. So I need 243 tiles. And then last step, if they're 75 cents a piece, what am I going to do? Okay, multiply by 0.75. So my cost then would be 243 times 182.75.
182.25.
Thank you. So my total cost is going to be $182.25. Okay? So again, not that any of that was hard to do, but that's a lot of steps. All right? Area of the bathroom floor, area of the tile, divide to find out how many tiles you need, and then multiply by the cost. Okay? And remember to convert feet to inches before you start. Okay? You think you're going to be okay for that one when you see it again?
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at number 2. This question is actually really easy, and some of you made it a lot harder than it needed to be. I think you thought it was harder because it had all these variables in it. This is one of those weird ones where they give you variables, but you can't like set it equal to anything, so you're not trying to figure out like what does x equal. You're just saying what 2 things would I multiply together if I was looking for the area. Which 2 things here would I need to get the area? Which 2 values do I care about? Rachel?
2x and 14.
Yep, you need the base and you need the height. Okay, you need the 2x and the 14. I actually should have drawn in a right angle there. Whoops. So to get my area, I'm going to do 2x times 4t. And that's really just going to be, and I know this is a lot of algebra that you probably haven't seen in a while, but 2 times 4 is 8, and then you could just write this as xt. Or tx, it doesn't matter. Okay, but that would be your answer. That's it. Okay? That's all you had to do with that one is multiply this and this together. And the one on your test, I think one of those didn't have a letter on it. It was just like a number and then something with a T on it, and you just had to multiply together. Or something with an X or something like that. But really what this question is testing is, do you know not to use the 3y? Do you know that you don't need that 3y, that you just need to multiply those 2 together? Does that make sense?
So parallelogram is just base times height.
Base times height, yep. The only tricky part is remembering the height is not the side of the parallelogram. The height has to make a right angle. Okay, let's look at 3. The measure of arc AB is 42 degrees. Now, we have not talked a ton about circles, and so I think this caused some confusion. When I say the measure of the arc is 42 degrees, that's not a length. Okay, that's not telling you the distance from A to B. That's telling you the angle. Jackson, do you have something to
I
add?
was gonna say that.
Okay, yeah. When I say that this is a 42 degree arc, what I really mean, and I wish this wasn't like solid black so I could write this in, but this angle here is 42 degrees. That's what this means. Okay, when I say the measure of arc AB is 42, that means this angle is 42. But that doesn't tell me the distance that I'd be walking if I was walking from A to B. That's what it asks us to find. Find the length of arc AB. Anyone remember how to do that?
I do.
We're going to have to do length and area.
I do.
So, go ahead, Jackson.
Yay. You have to find the circumference
Okay.
of the entire circle.
Okay, and how do I do that?
That is pi times r squared.
Nope.
Pi times diameter.
Yep, pi times diameter.
And then you have to divide that. Well, first you have to divide 360 by 42.
Okay.
And then you take that and you divide pi times diameter by what you get from 360 divided by 42.
Okay. That would work.
That would work.
It's a little, the way I had showed it in class was a little more straightforward. Okay, but that would work. Your process is right. What we're going to do is we're going to do pi times diameter and then multiply by our angle out of 360. Okay, so the pi times diameter, that's really the circumference, which is the whole length around the circle, and then multiply by the angle out of 360. What's our diameter here?
20.
Good. Yeah, it tells us up here that CA equals 10. That's a radius, right? So you see that CA is a radius of the circle. So the diameter would be 20. So to find this arc length, I'm going to do pi times 20 and it doesn't say exact, so you can go ahead and type pi into your calculator, times the angle, which is 42 out of 360. Okay, everyone see where I got all those numbers from? Any questions on that?
Hold on.
Pi times 20 times 42 out of 360.
Oh, you just rewrote. Okay. Yeah,
28, 20,
The 20,
10.
because I'm looking for the diameter, right? Because I want the circumference of the circle. Circumference is pi times diameter. Okay, so the diameter would be all the way across. And it told us in the problem that CA was 10. So this piece is 10, which means all the way across must be 20. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So pi times 20. Pi times 20 would tell me the distance if I walked all the way around the circle. And then this is saying, but I only want 42 degrees out of the 360 degrees. Okay? So I'm going to do something with a calculator that's not dead. Pi times 20. And you can type that all in at once. Oh. I got like 7.33.
Yep.
Is that what you got? Okay. So it's going to be 7.33, and this is a length, so we're just going to say inches here. Okay. For area, our process is almost exactly the same, except instead of using the circumference formula, we're going to use the area of a circle. How do you find area of a circle? Matt, was that you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Pi times radius times
Yep. So pi times radius squared. So we are going to do for area pi times radius squared times the angle out of 360.
A quick question.
Yeah.
I'm confused on. So we did the length times pi times d
Uh-huh.
made over 360, but then you got 7.33. But then like, what does that represent?
That would be the length from here to here. So like if I were to wrap a string like from A to B and then hold it out straight and measure it, that's how long it would be.
But now we have to find the area of the actual shaded.
The
part.
area of like this, like the pizza slice. Yep, so now I'm looking for how much space is in here. So the first thing we found was the distance from here to here, and now we're looking for the area inside there. Does that help a little bit? Okay. So I'm going to do pi times 10 squared, because 10 we said was our radius, right? Our radius is 10. Pi times 10 squared times 42 out of 360. And I get like 36.65. And that would be in square inches because that's an area.
That's the answer.
Yep.
How is the 7.33 even matter?
It's two different questions.
Oh.
Because
duh.
see up here it said find the length and then find the area. So that's why I kind of divided it. Like this is the answer for the length. And this is the answer for the area. So you're right. They are kind of unrelated. The process is really similar to find the two things, but they don't. It's like perimeter and area of a shape. Okay. How'd that go? That make sense? Be a good one for you to practice. You've got another one over here that you can practice with. But let's get through these other two first. Okay, this one here should have been a super easy question, and alas, it was not. Now, the one on your test was actually more similar to this one over here, but this one will still get the main idea. How do I find area of a triangle?
Base times height divided by 2.
Good. Base times height divided by 2. What you have to watch out for is sometimes the height is not inside the triangle. Okay? So the height will not actually touch the base of the triangle because it's not inside the triangle. Your base, though, is still just the base of the triangle. Hunter?
Wouldn't you first find a big triangle and then a small triangle and subtract a small triangle?
You could do that. Yeah. So what Hunter is suggesting is find the area of this whole thing and then find the area of this little guy and subtract it. You sure could do that. Yeah. You can actually get there a little more directly, but if that's what you thought to do on the test, that would work. Okay? What I would do is look at just the actual triangle that I'm trying to find the area of. This is what I want the area of. This over here is not even really a triangle. It's just there so that you have the height.
Poser.
Okay? So what's the base of the actual triangle?
10.
Jake? Yeah, 10. And what's the height of the triangle? 6. So 10 times 6 divided by 2. You don't need this 3 at all. Okay? So 60 divided by 2 is 30. So this area would be 30 square feet. Now I do want to go over here for a second. Because a second ago I told you that this 3 doesn't matter at all. And in this problem it sort of does. Here's the mistake I saw. This is the one that was really similar to the one that's on your test. The mistake I saw a lot of was people saying 5 times 12 divided by 2. What's the problem with using 12?
It's only a section. If they have
Yeah, you got a minus.
Okay. You have to minus the 3. Preston, what were you going to say?
The minus the 3 because the whole thing crosses 12.
Okay, so 12 is from here to here, right? But I don't want this little piece. I want to not care about that little piece like I not cared about it over here.
I don't like
So-
these.
If this whole thing is 12 and this little piece is 3, you need to first reason out that this must be 9, that the base of the triangle must be 9. And then you would do the 9 and the 5 divided by 2. Okay? Does that make sense? That tripped up a lot of people. Okay, and number 5. I think in number 5, the problem some of us had was just knowing what shape it was that you were talking about here. Okay? Let's suppose I am a radio tower. That's what I always dreamed of. Okay? So, I am the radio tower, and my signal extends 40 miles in every direction. So it goes 40 miles this way, 40 miles that way, 40 miles that way, 40 miles that way. What shape is that going to form?
Circle.
Circle. Isn't the definition of a circle like everything that is the same distance away from a given point? So if I'm looking at everything that's 40 miles away from where I'm at right now, that's going to be a circle. Okay? So, I want area of this circle, which is pi r squared. What's the radius of my circle?
40.
40. Be careful. I had some people cut that in half, meaning you were treating that 40 as like the diameter. But I'm going 40 this way and 40 this way. I'm going 40 forward and 40 backwards. So that's 40 in every direction. What would the diameter of my circle be?
80.
Yeah, the diameter of the circle would really be 80. Okay? So pi times 40 squared is something really big.
5,026.54.
That's it. And it said to the nearest square mile, which means round to the nearest whole number. So I would go 5,027 square miles. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Those were some of the harder ones. Those were the ones that I saw the most mistakes on.